Have you heard about a pilot who committed suicide after losing his job? A Malaysian man working in Singapore died after falling from the 8th floor of an apartment building due to miss his family's and increased workload. A former factory was killed by the oncoming trailer when he purposely walked onto the road after he was fired from job. All the tragedies were due to serious mental health conditions. The good news about mental health conditions is that recovery is possible. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. Due to pandemic COVID-19, mental health is the important thing to take care of. Thus, suicide or related mental illness can be avoided. The issues of mental health arising during pandemic COVID-19 encouraged me to acknowledge people on how to handle it. I have read, listened, and studied the news, articles, and journals about mental health issues during pandemic, and have done research on the internet. First, I will discuss the mental health issues happened during pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. Second, I will discuss the causes that can trigger mental health. Finally, I will persuade the audience to practice the ways to take care of their mental health, especially during this hard time. Global disaster pandemic COVID-19 brought adverse effects on mental health. An August 2020 article published in The Star states that the cases of people threatening to take their own lives are rising in Malaysia. According to National Fire and Rescue Department operations, between March and July, the department had handled 88 such cases, with 78 people rescued, 7 injured, and 3 fatalities in Johor. He said these were only cases handled by the department, and the amounts could be much higher. A July 2020 article published in the Straits Times said that there were 78 suicides nationwide from March 18, when the shutdown began, until June 9. Study conducted by a Malaysian think tank, the Center, in April found that 45% of 1,084 Malaysian respondents were encountered varying stages of anxiety and depression during the MCO. A result of 34% of 4142 calls received by the befrienders between March 18 and May 16 were correlated to the COVID-19 outbreak. Over a third of the calls about COVID-19 were suicidal in Malaysia. After discussing on mental health issues that happened in Malaysia during pandemic COVID-19, I will now talk about the causes that can trigger mental health in the pandemic COVID-19. The pandemic COVID-19 may be stressful for some people due to many causes. Have you heard about neurotic symptoms and psychotic symptoms? Neurotic symptoms such as depression, anxiety, or panic, while psychotic symptoms include hallucinations such as hearing, seeing, or feeling things that no one else can. Sources from Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association 2019. According to Director Nur Hisham Muhammad, the causes mostly comes from the financial problems. MCO gives enormous impact on economy, as many who had lost their jobs were struggling to find new ones. Employers cut employees' salary, reduce working hours, and lay off arising from the pandemic without the consent of employees. In this pandemic, job losses in the country has elevated by 42% year-on-year for the first quarter, according to SOCSO. Quarantine queries loneliness associated with feeling cut off from the world and from loved ones. Isolation increases the feeling of fear and helplessness that can lead to anxiety, depression, saying by Mr. R.D. Ayadali, the Publicity Director of Emotional Support Health Center, Befrienders, Kuala Lumpur. Online learning at home can give impact to mental health. Some students do not have reliable internet or space to study at home, especially students who come from poor families. Students who live in toxic home environment may trigger their mental health, especially who suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. We have talked about the causes that can trigger mental health. Now, I want to persuade the audience to practice the ways to take care of their mental health, especially during this hard time. Mental illness can attack anyone of any age, culture, education, and income level. It can be severe, long-lasting, and have a large impact on pupils' ability to get on with life. Thus, taking care of your mental health is important. Did you know that mental illness exists is not because someone is weak or there is something wrong with who they are as a person? But it is because that person can't just snap out of it. Adaptability towards the unemployment due to global pandemic. As the sooner one accepts this, the sooner one can get to the next phase of their lives. Take care of your body by getting enough of sleep, exercise regularly, and diet. You have to sleep early at night and get enough of rest for your body and mind to stay healthy. You have to get moving by exercising, gardening. Studies have found that exercising leads to releasing endorphins to lift your mood and provide a healthy source of energy. Eat healthy food can maintain your physical and mental health. You should limit exposure to news, social media, and make yourself busy can distract you from the cycle of negative thoughts that feed anxiety and depression. By doing something positive to manage anxiety is a healthy coping strategy. You can do something for others and find reasons in helping those around you. Stay connected to people and never isolate yourself even though you are asked to quarantine at home. You should join any program online or can use these opportunities to learn new skills or new languages. Communicate with people you trust about your concern and how you are feeling. It can be done by connecting online or get support from family or community. Avoiding tobacco, alcohol, or drugs are good ways to cope during a stressful time. This substance can harm your body and affect your mental health. I have been discussed the mental health issues happen during pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia, the causes that can trigger mental health, and finally, I persuade the audience to practice the ways to take care of their mental health, especially during this pandemic COVID-19. During this hard time, not only physical, but mental health is crucial to take care of. Poor mental health can affect your physical health. In simple terms, you can't be the best version of who you are. Not only that, it can also take your lives. I want the audiences to take all the tragedies happen as a lesson to always appreciate your precious life. During this hard time, It might trigger your mental health, but there are always ways out to avoid mental illness. Practice the ways on how to take care of your mental health. It is possible to recover from mental illness to lead full, balanced, and productive lives. Michael Obama once said, "It's time to tell everyone who's dealing with a mental health issues that they are not alone, and that getting support and treatment isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength." Thank you.